Good morning, everyone. In our previous videos, we have already discussed the various types of adjectives and the possessive adjectives in great detail, all of which you can find in our language and grammar playlist. Here, we will discuss today about the various degrees of comparison. But even before that, let's just revise adjectives and understand the need for comparison. You see, adjectives are used to qualify or tell something about a noun. For example, whether something or someone is good or bad, a boy is tall or short, a girl is intelligent or pretty, or whether some incident is happy or sad, and such. However, remember that no two things are equal, and hence sometimes we need to compare one with another to understand how they stand. It is just like generating report cards after exams to understand where the students stand when compared with one another. There are three levels of comparison. These are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Now let's understand these degrees. Look at this boy. He says, I am tall. And this one says, I am taller. And finally, this one says, I am the tallest. Now you see the common binding factor in all these three boys is the factor that they're all tall. But if we just say tall, we don't understand who is more tall than the other. Incidentally, more tall is wrong. We say taller. So anyway, you see, basically we use this taller or tallest to indicate the degree of their height. Someone is taller than the other, somebody is tallest than the rest. So when I say I am tall, I am using positive degree. If I say I am taller, I am using comparative degree between two boys. But when I say I am the tallest, I am actually indicating that I am the tallest among the rest. Nobody can compare with my height. So between the two, comparative and taking everything together is superlative. Let's check something more. Let's look at this girl. She says, I am clever. Fine. But this one says, I am cleverer than Asha. So the first girl's name is Asha. Okay, fine. And she says, I am the cleverest. So again, you see, the first girl, clever. The other two, they are also clever. But by using comparative and superlative degree, we can now say that the third girl is the cleverest of the rest. Now, let's move on to the degrees of comparison. Let's study three sentences first. Praveen is good in studies. Rahul is better than Praveen in studies. And Amit is the best in studies among all students. Now, the first sentence, Praveen is good in studies, it tells us that Praveen is good in studies, but it doesn't tell us how much of this quality he has got. Okay, he's good, but how good? We don't know. The second one says that Rahul is better in studies when compared with Praveen. So now we know that Praveen is just good, but Rahul is even better. And the third sentence finally tells us that Amit is the best in studies or that he has the highest or greatest of this quality in him when compared with the rest. Perhaps Amit is the first boy in the class, but whatever be the facts, the thing remains that he is the best. He has the highest level of this particular quality in him when compared with the rest. Now, let's talk about the definitions. Positive degree. This is the basic form of any adjective, the root form, and it tells only about a particular quality and doesn't tell us the degree or amount of that quality when compared with others. It will only tell us whether something is good or bad, tall or short, but we don't understand how tall or how short. We don't understand how good or how bad. We don't understand the intensity or the level of that quality in some person. For example, tall, fair, high, good. On the other hand, comparative degree used to compare one item or a set with another. So we can have a comparison between two individuals or we can have a comparison between two different groups. so that one can understand the degree or quality of any property of that noun. Say, for example, its height, or its plumpness, or its beauty, or whatever. Any property, any quality of that noun in comparison with another. For example, taller. So if one is tall, the other one is taller. If one is fair, the other one is fairer. If one is high, then the other one is higher. And if one is good, then the other one is better. So comparative degree compares one item with another. It can be a comparison between two individuals, or it can be a comparison between two different sets. But obviously, there will always be two different entities to compare. Finally, we come to superlative degree. This is the highest degree or intensity of any quality for subject and takes into consideration all the subjects or the sets in question. So, while positive degree was telling us about only one entity, comparative degree was providing us with a comparison between two different entities or groups. Superlative degree takes it to the other extreme of positive degree in that it considers all into one single whole and gives us the highest level of intensity or degree of any particular quality which is indicated by a particular adjective. For example, we have tallest, fairest, highest, and best. The highest degree or intensity of any particular quality, be it height, be it skin color, be it the quality of goodness. Now let's have a chart for representative purpose. You see, if we have tall in positive degree, then the comparative would be taller and superlative tallest. Similarly, hot would be hotter and then hottest. Dry would be drier and driest. Grey would be grayer and greyest. Good, better, and then best. Intelligent would be more intelligent and most intelligent. Incidentally, if we indicate the lesser quality, then we say intelligent, less or lesser intelligent, and least intelligent. It is just the opposite of more. Next, we have the basic rules. Okay, so you see, adjectives that have only one syllable can be made comparative and superlative by adding er and est respectively at their end. We will come to the explanations, examples shortly, but let's first go through the rules. So one syllable, we add er and est at the end. Such single syllable adjectives that already have e at their end will take only s or st at the end to become comparative and superlative. So if there is already e given, we don't need to double it up. We just add only s or st. Finally, there are adjectives which end in say er or y or ly, le or ow, and they usually add er and est. These adjectives are usually of two syllables, double syllabled. However, the adjectives that have three or more syllables or end in say full like beautiful, they take more and most to become comparative and superlative respectively. And as I told you, they can also take less or lesser and least to become comparative and superlative from a negative aspect. Now let's take a look at the examples. So single syllable, black, rich, gay, they are taking blacker, blackest, richer, richest, gayer, gayest. That is er and est. But pretty, two-syllable word and ends in y, it is becoming prettier and prettiest. The y is replaced with I and then it is taking er and est. Interested, interested, four-syllable word, it is becoming more interested and most interested. Powerful, again ends in full, it is becoming more powerful and most powerful. Noble ends in E. It takes only R and only ST to become nobler and noblest. Narrow, the word ends in OW and it is taking ER and EST, narrower and narrowest, to become comparative and superlative respectively. There are some more adjectives which don't follow any of these rules. In fact, such adjectives, they have completely different forms for their various degrees. For example, good. We don't say good, gooder, goodest. We say good, better, best. New words. We don't say bad, badder, baddest. We say bad, worse, worst. Little becomes less or lesser and least. Much or many, much in the case of uncountable and many in case of countable, becomes more and most. Out, they have their regular form outer but outmost, or they have their irregular form utter and utmost or uttermost. Now let's talk about adjectives without a comparative form. You see, it will be wrong if we say that all the adjectives have their positive, comparative, and superlative forms. There are some adjectives, and these adjectives are mostly of direction. They don't have their comparative form. They have either their basic form or their extreme form, that is, their positive form and their superlative form. And they always form their superlatives by adding most at their end. For example, western becomes westernmost, eastern, easternmost, northern, northernmost, southern, southernmost, down, downmost, and top, topmost. Finally, we come to the degree placements, and this is very important so far as exam questions are concerned. You see, adjectives, degrees of comparison, we are asked either to identify, which now we can easily do by looking at their form. If they don't have ER, EST, or more, most at their beginning, we can easily say that they are positive. If they have more or ER, they are comparative, while ST or most would mean they are superlative. That is done. But there are sometimes fill in the blanks where we need to fill the blanks with different degrees of comparison. So how to understand which degree will go where? You see, positive degrees are used when there is a blank between two as, blank, as. Or maybe it can come as so, blank, as, or like, and then blank. So in such cases, we use positive degrees. For example, we say he is as strong as a lion. See, as, then positive degree strong, and then again as. He runs fast like a deer. So runs fast and then like. Whenever there are blank and then than constructions, we use comparative degrees. For example, he is stronger than a lion. He runs faster than a deer. So comparative degree of the adjective stronger, faster, and then we are using than. Finally, in case of blank and just before the blank there is a the, we use superlative degrees. For example, he is the strongest of all. He is the fastest of all. So we have the and then we use the superlative degree. So whenever in exams you will find a the before the blank, you can put a superlative degree in that place with your eyes closed and nobody would be able to cut a single mark from you. So that will be all. I hope you understood it well. If there be any questions, you can always ask. Thank you.